Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Live with the Times. Today, we are going over the second Aliyah of Chaye Sarah. Grateful for you. Grateful to be here, to be able to go over this with you. And so, as we mentioned yesterday, Avraham Avinu is now tasked with having to bury his wife, Sarah, here immediately after this test, horrible, the biggest test of his life. And so the second Aliyah starts here with the Vayakam Sadeh Ephron Asher Hamapala Asher Lifnei Mamre Hasadeh Hamara Asher Boy Bechol Ha'etz Asher Basadeh Asher Bechol Kivuloi Saviv. That now is well established. Vayakam Sadeh, the field of Ephron, that was in Machpelah, which is before Mamre, the field and the cave that is within it, and all the trees that were in the field that were within all the boundaries around it. Right, so right away, we see that there's a repetition here 3 times here with Sadeh, Hasadeh, Hamelech Basadeh, 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 Hamelech Basadeh. This is what we're saying in Elul, that the king is in the field. Right, and as we mentioned last week as well, Hashev has an acronym for Har, Sadeh, and Bait, corresponding to Avraham, was the Har, was a mountain. Sadeh was Yitzhak, and Yaakov was the Bait, was the house. And so when we're talking about Sadeh here, we can see, the field of Ephron, the field that is within Machpelah, and the field that is around it. But really what it's referring to is, now that they have established this Machpelah, now we have to get Yitzhak. What do you mean we have to get Yitzhak? Yitzhak is already 37 years old. He's already been around. We don't have to get Yitzhak's already here. Right? Now we have to elevate him to his task. How can you elevate him to be able to achieve his task? By getting him married. Right? A person can only achieve their task when they're married. A man can only achieve their task when he's married. Women have more choice, actually. A man is commanded to have children. A woman is not commanded to have children because she's the one going through the pain. She can choose not to or not have children. Of course, it takes two to tango. So, encouraged to have children. But when we talk about Hasadeh, we're talking about that now he is going to be the field. He is going to rise to his position of being the field. And as we know, also Yitzhak, being the perfect korban, the perfect offering, so to speak, he was not allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael. And so now Avraham Avinu calls upon his trusted servant, his trusted chassid, his gabbai, the main one that was helping him attend to everything in his household, Eliezer. And Eliezer now has to go and promises to go to the land that Abraham's family is, and he is going to find a wife from there. Promises not to get someone from the Canaanite family. We'll talk about Eliezer's reaction here. This is actually a very Eliezer-centric parsha. And Eliezer has, there's a lot to say about Eliezer here, right? A lot of good, a lot of maybe not so good, maybe just human aspects that we all kind of go through. But once again, later on, it also says, Vayakam Hasadeh, Hamoy Asher Boy LeAvraham, Achuzas, Karva Mayas Benechet. And once again, it was established the field in the cave that was in it for Avraham, in the legal possession for burial site from the sons of Chet. Right, so once again, talking about how this land was acquired legally. It was a purchase. We redeem the sparks here. And then what does it say? It says, so Avraham promises, makes Eliezer promise to go and to do this. But what I want to focus on today is that here it says, Avraham zaken ba Yameem. Hashem be'erach es Avraham b'kol. That Avraham was old, ba Yameem. We'll talk about what that means here in a minute. And Hashem, blessed, Hashem b'kol, translates is with everything. There's a couple of, and this is when he finally realized, okay, cool, listen, I gotta go and find a wife for my son, send Eliezer. And this pasuk here means that Abraham had come to a place in his life where he realized he had more to do, but that this was now his mission. And but what does it mean, Baba Yameem? Right, it says that he was old, right? He was old and full of days. Baba Yameem literally translates as he came with his days. And it also translates as he entered into many days. And Rabbi Nachman says something, right, that he says there are a number of principal levels of holiness with interim levels between them. Right, that every single person enters when they enter into the service of God. Right, they have that their days are not full. Right, they don't have full days, and the person has to learn how to have full days. Right, that as long as we are far away from kedusha, we have a lot of distractions coming at us. Right, oh my gosh, this fire, that fire. We realize where did the day go? The day got away from me. Right? And a person has to strive to ascend from level to level, taking care not to skip any of the interim levels. Right? You can't skip steps in Kedusha. Right? When a person first starts to come close to Hashem, many times it's an awakening from above. And during that awakening from above, a person will have huge inspiration and huge leaps and bounds in their avodas Hashem. Right? This is why sometimes a lot of people, they get themselves in trouble because they take on more than they can handle during this initial leap. And you see a lot of times people who are newly religious, new to the faith, they're newly realizing the depths and it's coming. And what a great gift it is really to make shuvah. And so the Yetzer Hara has many, many different tricks up his sleeve in order to discourage a person from coming close to Hashem and really achieving their real goal, that is Hashem, which is mamish, to have devekas, to have a connection with Hashem, to have a oneness with Hashem. So a person will sometimes feel an intense drive to come close to Hashem. And the Yetzer Hara will say, okay, well, listen, I can't stop this person from doing what they need to do. So I'm going to pull the person, meaning I'm going to get this person so worked up and get this guy so worked up. Yes, you're so holy. Yes, you're a tzaddik. Yes, you could even be Moshiach. Maybe you're Moshiach. How come nobody's ever seen this before? And this is an aspect of the ego. The ego boosts somebody up with their avodas Hashem and with their mitzvahs. And they say, look, no one's even noticing how much you're doing. You're real tzaddik. You're a hidden tzaddik. Maybe you're one of the 36 tzaddikim. Maybe you're 11 vavnik, right? Maybe people don't even know, and they should really be kissing your hand. And the person, oh, look, you have to take on more. Look, you have to dress a certain way. You should grow your payas. You should dress all black. You should leave all your old friends. You should leave your family. You should yell at your family that they're not doing enough. They're not honoring Hashem. They're not keeping Shabbos. You can't eat by them anymore. And then the list goes on and on and on and on and on. How the Yetzer Hara will come and pull somebody. And waiting for that person to pull him on his face, say, oh, you're a big tzaddik, and pull him on his face. And then that person gets very discouraged because they have a big fall. and they're actually humbled, right? They have this big ego, and they're actually realizing, oh, well, I'm not that person. And a lot of times they can't handle it, and they run away, and they never come back, chas v'shalom. This is the negative aspect of that awakening from above. It's always a positive aspect, but when a person reacts in that way, it can react in negative outcomes, so to speak. At least person can then come back. But in the most positive way, right, when you have an awakening from above, Hashem brings you up on an elevator, brings you up on a cloud, on a flying carpet, whatever analogy you want to use. We have a tradition that Avraham or Adam and Rishon and Chava, right, they were actually one person at one point, and Hashem split them. Not just that they were taken from the rib, right? Zohar says it was actually one person, and they were split. Why? So the person would have felt whole and then know what they're missing. And the same thing happens before we come into the world, that when we're in the womb, we're learning Torah all day and all night. All we know is that it says that there's a lamp hanging over our head, and we can see from one end of the world to the next. Have an aspect of prophecy, have an aspect of revelation, of this amazing kedusha of this light, and in learning the whole Torah. And then when we come in, angel taps us here, which is why we have this little clap here, and we forget everything. Why? So we should know that when we're learning Torah, we're just not learning it for the first time, we're remembering it. Right? And the same thing when we are getting a awakening from above. Right? Hashem takes us on the highest levels and shows us, and we're able to make huge leaps and bounds. And if a person does not get taken by the Yitzhak and pull in his face, if a person has a certain level of holding themselves back while at the same time pushing themselves and doing it in a way that is sustainable, right? Kedusha and growth should always be sustainable. Many a time, the design of this awakening from above is a way that is not really sustainable. And even in the best of circumstances, Hashem drops the person. The person can wonder why. Well, you just got seen, you didn't have to work for anything, and you just got seen the whole amazing depths of Torah. You've made amazing bounds, you've learned so much, you've achieved so much, you've been exposed to so much. And if you continue to work on it, you can create kalim, you can create vessels with your words, with your mouth, with your prayer, that will be able to absorb that light. And the more that you're talking during this whole process, the more you're doing his bodhidus and talking, the more light you can bring down and be able to hold. But then what happens when you get dropped? Well, you have a choice. You can either be like that first example and say, forget about it, it's not for me, right? The Yitzhak isolated me. Look, he took me away from my family, my friends. Forget about it. What a bunch of craziness. Or a person can get back up, dust themselves off, and say, wow, that was amazing. I want to get back there. And they start finding their way back there. Now, when the awakening from below happens, this is the real awakening. This is the awakening that Hashem wants. It says, make for me a pinhole, and I will open up worlds for you. This is when it happens, right? That when a person makes that second effort to start coming close to Hashem, and maybe the third or the fourth or the seventh or the 100th effort, whatever it may be, comes close to Hashem, that this is the real avoda. This is the real avoda, and this is the real avoda that you're not flying in an elevator or on a cloud or on a magic carpet. You actually have to go up the stairs, level by level by level by level, right? Step by step, madrega to madrega. That a person has to take care not to skip any of the interim levels, right? Why? Because you have to have a foundation. You have to have a proper yesod, right? If a person cannot learn multiplications if they don't know addition, subtraction. If you don't know what 2 plus 2 is, you don't know what 2 times 2 is. 22 by 22, right? And so it says that Avraham Avinu, he had entered into many days. Baba Yameem, he was advanced in years. Avraham utilized every day and every moment of every day, right? He didn't skip leg day. No, he really didn't skip any sort of opportunity, and it didn't come overnight. Right? As we see that Avraham had to work very hard. He had to work very hard. He's not an infallible person. The Tzaddikim are not infallible. Right? Earlier when we said about Vayakam Hasadeh Ephron, and then later on we say Asher Bo Bechol Ha'etz Asher Basadeh, that had within it all the trees of the field. What are those trees? Those trees are the Tzaddikim. Right? That we have the support of the Tzaddikim all around us. We have a tree that grows on its own, grows crooked. You can see even when they're doing landscaping and they have a tree that they want to grow in the middle, they have to put poles on the side and they're stretching out from each side to make sure that it grows straight up properly. But guess what? When you grow it in a forest or when you grow it around other trees, it automatically learns from the other trees somehow to grow straight up. It's not growing crooked all over the place. Right? And so when we grow around other trees, when we grow around other tzaddikim, when we grow around other people who actually have a foothold in Kedusha, when they're actually on higher levels, higher madrigas than us, they can show us the way, they can help pull us up in our own way, in our own time. We can actually achieve something. Right? Thus he attained awesome levels of holiness, including the holiness found within the interim levels. Right? All those foundations, they're not just like additions, they actually become exponential. Snowball effect, where you're starting to get more and more and more ground, right? Because now you have more knowledge, you have more ways, you have more experience, you have more kedusha, you have more cleanliness, you have more kalim to accept all the light, you have more actions, you know what to do, muscle memory. Even if a person does not utilize the days properly, he must at least strive to attain the principal levels of holiness, running quickly from one to the other. It's from Lengthen Maran. That a person should know that it first is not easy. A person has to go level to level to level and to increase their time in their days. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this already in this class, but Emunah talks about how to expend our days, that a person can say, hey, how will I ever make it? It's so much. How can I do so much? A person should start off slow and hour after hour can increase and stuff more stuff into their day, into their hour. And then that day is over and the next day starts again. And we have the same opportunity to grow in the same way. That every single day is its own avoda, its own practice. But by extending our days, and we too come with our full days. And then we can be blessed bakol. Bakol is literally, right? Rashi says that Avraham had a daughter whose name was Bakol. Right? Berach Hashem Bakol. Right? It says that Hashem, Avraham Zaken Baba Yameem. Hashem Berach es Avraham Bakol. And Hashem blessed Avraham Bakol with everything. He blessed Avraham Bakol with this daughter. Who's the daughter? When we increase our days, we get blessed with a daughter. Who's the daughter? The daughter, according to Rabbi Nachman, is faith, Emunah. Right, that just as a person nurtures his daughter, so much he nurtures Emunah. Avram's Emunah, his daughter, also corresponds to blessings and prayer. That is, we say in the Lost Princess, right, that we came here to find our Emunah. We came here to find our neshama that is screaming within us, begging us to grow our Emunah, to achieve Emunah, to have real faith in Hashem, to know that everything that is happening is from Hashem, and Hashem does everything for a reason, and Hashem does everything for the good. Right? And in this way, we can get to the place that Bakol, even here it's saying, right, that Bakol has numerical value of 52, which also corresponds to Ben. Right? That now he can have his son. Who is his son? His son is the Sadeh. The son is Yitzhak. Now he can finally have. Why? Because he had a daughter? Because now he has Emunah. Now he can teach his son Emunah. Now he can teach his son what he needs to do. Now he can teach his son how to achieve his purpose in life. And his daughter, her purpose in life. And all of their children, all of their purposes in life. Right? That he missed this with Ishmael. He didn't have Bakol yet. He didn't have the Emunah yet. It was still struggling. Right? And that Bakol also, 52, has the numerical value of Bayam. That it's equivalent to the word Bayam. That Avraham represents the Sephir of Chesed, of kindness, as we said, which is the first of the lower 7 Sephirot of Zer Anpin. Stick with me here for a minute if you can. Right, so we have Chakma bin Adas on the upper levels. And then once you get this level of Zer Anpin, now we have Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Hod, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus. Or the first 6 of the lower 7 Sephirot corresponds to part Suf of Zer Anpin. And the last is the Sephir of Malchus. Who's Malchus? Abraham's daughter is Malchus. Right, that corresponds to holy speech. That Malchus, which is an aspect of kingship, is a product of Chesed. Right, the Bakol represents Malchus. That the daughter represents Malchus. That Emunah and Malchus are one and the same. Right, because they both don't make sense at all. Meaning, it doesn't make sense to have Emunah in the world. We should just be saying everything's by chance. And to have Emunah in the world is bringing in something supernatural. And also Malchus to have kingship, something supernatural. What makes one person better than another person? That one person's king and another person's a pauper. That the person has Malchus, the person accepts responsibility. The person can only have responsibility if they have Emunah. All right. This is where we find that we can be a vehicle of the good Malchus, or God forbid, right? Good Malchus, meaning that we are Eved Hashem. And how become Eved Hashem, as we said, to go Madrega to Madrega, lengthening our days day by day, day by day, day by day, increasing our actions, increasing our Emunah, so we can find Emunah, so we have true Bakol. And in this way, then we for sure will have the Malchus in a way that we can really serve Hashem and be able to be good creators in the world. And this way, every single person will come, Baba Yameem will come in their full days and go from level to level. And all of us will achieve our level one by one, as we're all one chain, lifting each other up in a world here speedily, God willing, today, that will have the third Beis HaMikdash, coming Moshiach, Tzidkenu.